Good morning! Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning! Ako, so excited ako ngayon kasi nakabalik ulit ako mag-live sa sobrang tagal. So, ibig sabihin, ganun din katagal yung hindi ako nakapagbasa. Kaya excited ako magbasa ulit kasi hindi ako nakapagbasa ng ilang araw. Weeks nga. Kasi nabisi ako dun sa birthday. Birthday ko noon. Then, ngayon, dapat balik tayo sa target. Tuwa ako kasi last month na-hit ko naman yung sa isang buwan, isang libro. Yung sa pangalawang buwan, hindi ko man siya na-hit yung dalawang libro, pero at least nakakuha ako ng one in one, half na na libro. So ngayon, tatapusin natin. Nandito tayo ngayon sa ano, Mars and Venus Together Forever, Chapter 5 na tayo. Where this chapter is all about masculine skills for listening without getting upset. To give a woman the emotional support she requires, a man needs to listen in a new way, using new relationship skills. When she is upset, his most powerful means of assisting her in feeling better is to listen without getting upset that she is upset. To do this successfully, he does not have to make major changes in himself. Instead, he is required only to reconnect to his ancient warrior skills. By learning to duck and dodge what he hears as blames, mistrust, and criticism, a man can gradually learn to listen patiently and not get to shot to pieces. Through listening in a skillful manner so that he is not hurt by her words and feelings, he will begin to hear her calmly. While he is perfectly capable of mastering these relationship skills, it is not as easy for him as women assume. His mate's conscious assistance in this process can greatly speed up his progress. We have already discussed that hearing a woman talk about problems is particularly hard on a man because he either is inclined to offer solutions that she doesn't appreciate or feels blame for what is bothering her. If a man simply practices listening passively for more than 10 minutes without clear guidelines and without doing something to make his mate feel better or at least defend himself, he will become increasingly frustrated and upset. Even if she does not intend to attack or blame him when she talks about her feelings, he may feel that she does. Merely listening is too inactive for him. It is as if he is standing in front of a firing squad. When she begins to talk, he wants to either fight back or put on a blindfold. Instead of allowing himself to be wounded by his partner's word, a man can practice the new a man can practice the new relationship skills by ducking and dodging. When he feels under attack, he can actively support her by not taking it personally. He is superbly equipped to do this because protecting himself from harm is the most basic of warrior skills. If he has survived this long, with a few adjustments, he can begin applying his skills in conversation. Emotional self defense. The instinct that sent warriors boldly into battle to defend themselves and protect their loved ones come into play when a modern man tries to listen to a modern woman. To prevail, he must learn to duck and dodge. A modern man is required to be a warrior, but not must defend himself without retaliating. Ducking and dodging require new mental strategies for correctly interpreting the situation. Instead of reacting to blame and criticism, a man learns to hear the correct loving message in her words and responds in ways that diminish friction and conflict. Ducking and dodging allow a man to keep his cool and respond respectfully to a woman's need to communicate. When he listens to a woman without ducking and dodging, He will be repeatedly assaulted by her words and begin to feel blame, criticized, unacknowledged, misunderstood, rejected, mistrusted, or unappreciated. No matter how much he loves her, after about three direct hits, he will no longer be capable of listening to her in a supportive way. War breaks out. Surgical? Naa. 20. Yeah. Thank you. When a man is struck by a woman's word, it is much harder to restrain his ancient warrior's instinct to intimidate, pretend, or retaliate. Once these defensive responses are triggered, he will attempt either to change her mind through arguing or protect her from his own aggressive reaction by emotionally withdrawing. However, through new relationship skills of listening without getting struck, he can easily sidestep provocation reaction, provocative reactions. He can easily sidestep provocative reactions. Women still want to be protected. Although modern women are independent and assertive, their female nature still seeks out strong men who can provide protection. They still want to be protected, but in a different sense. Women now look to men to provide the emotional climate in which they can safely explore and express their feelings. When a man can listen to a woman's feelings and allow her to articulate them without responding negatively, she is not only very appreciative but more attractive to him as a result. Through ducking and dodging, a man will avoid getting upset along with his partner and will create a new dimension of protection for the woman he loves. This new ability and strength not only helps her, but ensures that he too will get the love he deserves. Security is the most important gift a contemporary man can give a woman. In hunter nurture societies, that security was primarily physical. Today, it is emotional as well. When a woman feels secure enough to share her feelings with the man she loves and he can listen without being wounded, the relationship will thrive. Buying a computer. I'll never forget the day I first discovered this truth in my own marriage. Before then, even knowing that women needed to be heard and feel understood, I didn't realize that safety was an even more important element to them. On the last day of the year, I decided to buy a new computer. I had put off this decision for a long time, but finally decided to do it on a New Year's Eve so that I could take it off that year's taxes. When I mentioned this to Bonnie, the force of her reaction stunned me. Why do you need to buy a new computer? She demanded. You already have one. Although I didn't like being questioned, I paused to consider her request, then began to explain by simply saying, well, for a lot of reasons. By saying a little as possible, I was again able to duck and avoid getting hit by her inevitable emotional response to my gut reactions. If I hadn't ducked, we would have clashed. By doing so, I prevented the situation from escalating into a full blown fight. What's wrong with the computer you already have? Bonnie persisted. I again paused, then observed. You seem upset. What's the matter? Have you researched the market? She persisted, not answering my question. How much is this computer going to cost? Although she was again asking me demanding questions, I knew Bonnie was upset and needed to talk. If I started giving complicated explanation of why I needed a new computer, not only would she continue to be upset, but I would become upset because it would feel as if she didn't appreciate my explanations. Men should duck answering a woman's direct questions if they are provocative. Turn the conversation back to her and keep the responses to a minimum to draw her out. Here's how, here's how it went. John, I think before we talk about the computer, we should first talk about how you feel. I want to understand what you are feeling and why you are upset, Pony. Well, I am upset. Whenever you want something, you just go out and get it. I don't know why you have to get another computer. Your work's fine. If we are going to spend money, there are other things we could spend it on. John, okay, what do you think we should buy, Bonnie? It's not that I have this all thought out. It's just a feeling. I feel like you get what you want and I get seconds. Maybe I am mad that you want so much more than me. When I want something, it doesn't seem so important. John, what do you want? Bonnie, I don't know, but it feels like everything we do is for you and not me. We always do what you want to do and you always get your way. I'm afraid I will not get what I want. John, I can understand that feeling, Bonnie. We have been waiting 6 months to redo our floor. Our couch needs to be recovered. I still need a kitchen cupboard. There are so many things we need to spend money on in the house, and you are buying a computer. Just feels like you don't care about me. We are going to buy what you want, and that's it. What I have to say doesn't matter at all. As the conversation progressed in this way, I was vigorously ducking and dodging. As I continued to hold back and not retaliate, I realized that I could only take so much more. John, I really want to understand your feelings and it's hard for me. It's starting to sound like you're saying, I'm this selfish person. Don't I do anything nice? Bonnie, softening. Of course you do. I don't mean to upset you. I just have a lot of feelings coming up. I really appreciate you trying to listen. Just the fact that I could talk about my feelings without you getting upset with me makes me feel so loved. She then burst into tears and I give her a loving hug. The importance of safety. At that moment, I realized how important it was for Bonnie to feel safe without to feel safe enough to express her feelings. When I share this story in my couples seminar, women repeatedly get misty eyed relating to Bonnie's feelings. The freedom to express emotions safely with their mate's help is vital to women. Men inevitably express surprise at how much women need to feel safe. When a man seeks an intimate partner, he wants primarily to be needed and appreciated. When a woman seeks a mate, a man's ability to protect her is a key job requirement. This is a very primal feeling directly connected to her emotional well being. Down through the century, women have looked to men for protection because it was crucial to their family's survival. This protector rule carries over into our generations of relationships. But now, as we've said, it is more linked to emotional security. Emotional security guarantees that a woman is safe to share her feelings without invalidating argument and interruption from her man. It is the force that frees her to be herself. It means that she can talk without worrying about hurting him and without reprisal. It means that she can be in a bad mood without her mates holding it against her or ignoring her. The emotional freedom to be herself. Women are under such constant pressure to be loving and sweet, to be loving and sweet, that the freedom to be themselves is the greatest gift a man can give them. Even if he doesn't really understand her feelings, the attempt to do so calmly makes her feel powerfully supported. Sometimes a woman doesn't understand her own feelings until she freely talks about them. If she doesn't have to worry about her man's losing control or withdrawing his love, she is doubly relieved and deeply grateful, even if she remains upset with him. After receiving this support, it becomes much easier for her to draw from her loving center the strength to forgive and forget. When I wanted to purchase a computer, through sharing her automatic feelings reactions, my wife was able to process emotions, not just about the computer, that had been building upstream over time. By verbally sorting them out, Bonnie was able to shade her emotions, resistance, and support me. Generally speaking, when anyone, male or female, has a strong emotional reactions, it is a combination of many elements, not just the subject at hand. Generally speaking, when anyone, male or female, has a strong emotional reaction, it is to a combination of many elements, not just the subject at hand. The right time for problem solving. After taking Bonnie in my arms, I began to address her questions. Now that she felt heard, it was time to put aside emotions and concentrate on problem solving. I've been researching this computer for 6 months, I began. It's a great deal, and if I buy it today, I can claim a tax write off this year. But I've got to get to the store before they close. I understand you want things for the house, I assured him. When I get back, why don't we sit down and plan what you want? Sounds good. Sounds good, she answered with a smile. So I got my computer and Bonnie got finished floors. Most important, we both got the satisfaction of knowing we had somehow spoken each other's language, fully communicated, and grown together in love. It's all in a timing. Timing is essential when offering solutions. I personally discovered that I became most upset with Bonnie when she continued to be emotional or argumentative after I offered suggestions. As a man, I believe my most valued gift to her was to provide a solution. It was like offering my most precious jewel and having the woman I love reject it. Gradually, I learned that when a woman is upset, she rarely has the ability to appreciate solutions. This is because what she needs then is to be heard, not fixed. In some cases, a solution makes matter worse by minimizing or even invalidating her feelings. Blaming Bonnie for not appreciating my solutions when she is upset and needy would be like blaming a hungry lion for beating my hand after I put it in its mouth. Although I get Although I can understand intellectually that there are times when my wife can't fully appreciate my solutions, it still feels like rejection. The art involved in offering solution is first to make sure a woman is receptive to attempts to help. By offering a solution before a woman is ready to hear, by offering a solution before a woman is ready to hear it, a man is setting himself up to feel rejected, significantly decreasing his ability to continue listening without getting more upset. Once he is hit, he will almost inevitably be struck again, with each successive emotional blow growing more and more painful. After the third strike, it is advisable to take time to call off, think things, think things over, and then resume the conversation when you feel more centered. The inner mechanics of ducking and dodging. To some women, the above dialogue might sound like John Gray is this loving guy who can hear his beloved wife because he loves her so much. The truth is that I do love her with all my heart, but in the computer incident, we avoided getting into an ugly argument in a clash of wills because I've spent years practicing the skills of ducking and dodging, and Bonnie has supported me in that process. In the beginning of our marriage, Bonnie and I would often fight and argue because, in essence, we were not speaking the same language. Where are we? In the beginning of our marriage, Bonnie and I would often fight and argue because, in essence, we were not speaking the same language. Now, after rewriting our job descriptions and practicing new relationship skills, communication is much, much easier. When conversation repeatedly turn into fights, one of the both partners will eventually begin to close up and passion will start to fade. When men begin to understand this, they are motivated to listen more. However, without becoming agile at ducking and dodging, it is hard road to hoe. Men attending my seminars are uniformly grateful for advice on ducking and dodging and always ask for new tips. Let's revisit the computer incident, but this time noting the inner reaction and reflexive exercises at ducking and dodging that allowed me to patiently listen and to give my wife the consideration and support she deserves. This description of what it takes to be a good listener may astound women and assist them in being more appreciative of what a man goes through. And in deep understanding can help her to be more accepting and patient when he needs to take a time out and not talk for a while. Preparing for Dodge. Before when mentioning the computer, I have to prepare myself for bonus resistance because every instinct in my body is telling me she'll disapprove. For starters, she doesn't have the same appreciations of electrical gadget and gizmos that I do. Her resistance is making the conversation much harder for me to start. In some ways, I feel like a child or subordinate asking permission. I don't feel very manly. In fact, I feel like weakling. I am able to overcome my resistance by reminding myself that I don't need to get her approval, but that I am supporting her by respecting her need to be included in the decision. To feel respected, she needs to be seriously considered any opposition or suggestions she might have. Although the computer is a purchase exclusively for me to use, Bonnie is my equal partner in life and deserves to be included in any major financial decision. For her to feel equal, she needs to take her emotions into account. I plan my words carefully with an eye to keeping them as brief as possible to give her room for whatever reaction she needs to have. After all, I've spent 6 months of working through my resistance, weighing the pros and cons of a new computer. Why shouldn't she have some resistance as well? With this preparation, I begin the conversation. The importance of containment, John. For several months, I've been thinking about buying a new computer. I know just what I want, but I also want to include you in the process. How do you feel about it, Pony Shock? Why do you need to buy a new computer? You already have one. I pause the consider I pause and consider her question. Before answering, I contain my gut reaction and practice the relationship skills of ducking and dodging. While taking a calmly breath, I remind myself it is okay for her to be upset. It doesn't mean I can't get what I want. I don't need to get upset back. Let her talk. This was a quick talk. Bonnie, what's wrong with the computer you already have? Hmm. At this point, I quickly dodge and reassess the situation by thinking that although it sounds as if she is trying to control me, she is not. She is not saying I am wrong for wanting a computer, nor is she acting like my mother and telling me I can't buy one. I don't need her permission, but she deserves my consideration. However, she is upset and needs to talk before she can be more supportive. This may take 20 minutes. It is crucial that I relax, get comfortable, and let her explore her feelings out loud. Although it will sound like blame, it is not. I must not take it personally. While I am doing my best to dodge, I still feel like shouting. How dare you tell me what to do? What do you want have to get upset because I want to buy a computer? Fortunately, I appreciate the wisdom of containment and duck by not indulging and expressing my gut reaction. Women don't demand agreement. Men don't realize that an emotionally upset woman is not demanding agreement or submission from him. She just wants to be considered. He mistakenly assumed that she has to fight to be himself when she only wants to feel heard, not stop him or control him. A man does not instinctively understand this because he is so much more goal oriented. When a man is upset and he talks, then his goal is to get his listener to agree with him so that some problem can be corrected. When a woman is upset, she first wants to talk about it and decide later what she thinks should have happened. Someone. Napicture na nata ka? Napicture na nata ka?
Wala. Ay, oo.
Nakuha na nata ka? Nakuha na nata ID?
Ay, katong niya din. Ikaw mag-usap ka.
Ay, di, wala. Okay naman kung nakuha na ka. Ano sa apelyido?
Romero.
Romero?
Opo.
Sa phone number, 09.
Ay, nato din ako. Kalimut ko.
Kasi kuha na na kanina po, be. Sa phone number, be.
Harap ka.
09.
75
Ah,
89
ah,
73
ah.
618.
Romero, no, apelyido?
Opo.
Ang sa ID mo na present last time?
Te.
Ang sa mo ang ID nga gi-present dire?
Opo. Nara. Harap ka.
Sir, 975 89 73 618. Romero. Halihok ko sa code. Nga ano yung nag-text?
Harap ka.
Yaraan. Sulat ko full name, signature. Baliw ko din pagsulat ha next time.
Ay,
Ah. Thank you. When a woman is upset, she first wants to talk about it and decide later what she thinks should happen. A man mistakenly assumes that he has to give in to her feelings and act sacrifice if he wants to please her. He mistakenly concludes that he has to agree with her point of view before she can feel okay again. If he doesn't agree and doesn't want to give in, he feels driven to point out the deficiencies in her argument to get her to agree with him. Through understanding this difference, a man can contain his tendency to argue when a woman is emotional. When I use my brains instead of my guts, I can easily duck and dodge. This does not mean that I should disregard my gut reactions. They are inevitable. What is required in a relationship is that men control their instincts when they are feeling blame or attacked and not retaliated. Certainly, there will be times when a man is struck by her words and get upset. It's only to be expected. A woman can handle a man being upset if he can contain his negative reactions and respond respectfully. As long as he contains his feeling and doesn't lose control by dumping them on her, it counts as support. However, one lost derogatory censor can undo 20 minutes of attentive support. When emotions are involved, it is important for men to think before they act. Whenever I exert when I Whenever I contain my reaction and use my brain to respond, both Bonnie and I win. Otherwise, we both lost. I may win the argument, but I will eventually lose her trust. What women admire in men. What women admire in men. Smart. 09. Surname certified. 0905 pila. Yara. Thank you. What women admire in men. A woman admires a man if he has the strength to control his emotion and the sensitivity to consider the merits and validity of what she is saying. He doesn't have to put his tail between his legs and do whatever she wants. A woman admires a man if he has the strength to control his emotions and the sensitivity to respectfully consider her point of view as a valid perspective. Women are turned off by passive and submissive men. They don't want to be the boss in an intimate relationship. They want to be equal partners. If a man respects a woman's primary need to be heard, she will respond by becoming equally respectful of his wishes. Dodging the challenge. Back to Bonnie and me in the computer. As the conversation continues, she says in a mistrusting tone, well, have you researched the market? How much is this computer going to cost? I am now livid and silently feel inside. Who is she to doubt my competence? I don't need her to telling me how much money to spend on a computer. I don't need another mother. Before these emotions become real, I make sure to nip them in the bud by remembering my goal to provide a safe place for her to share whatever feelings she has. I find it useful to always keep my objective in mind. I need to remember that I am not trying to win a court case. Instead, I am trying to give my wife nurturing support at the moment when she has little to give me. If I were a litigator, the objective might to be immediately invalidate her credentials. Not only would I attempt to discredit his competence, sa man, Abe. Naka-present kag ID, ma'am. Pakuan ko, ma'am, be. Cellphone number, ma'am, 09. Cellphone number, ma'am.
Number sa
Cellphone nimo.
kuan. Kung ang dira dito kuan, ano mo sa akong number din ha? Itong bago. Gilahin mo sa cellphone kay bakit ito mo sa iyang gamit.
Kani siya, ma'am. Kani nga number.
Kana ang number.
Ang kuan eh. Unsa? 0975 60 65 648.
Ma'am, siya ma'am.
Ha?
Ang padalaan ang number. Di ba lang dapat yung isa ka number na ako? Kada kita ko mo yung gamit. Kapag ko ikuha ba yung ang contact natin?
Kani na siya, ma'am. Kaning nga number. Akong pasabot. Oo. Ma'am, paliw po sa ID.
Valid ID.
Yes, ma'am.
Valid ka hindi.
Siya, Candy.
Number.
Pila.
Tingin ko lang. Nakasulat. Isa lang. Hago kayo. Labi na elementary high school. Dungan. Ready pa elementary. Kumain na liya siya. Oh. Ano man?
Yara, oh.
Kami po dali. Kila gani? Okay, kaya Ang pwede na makuha ni ma'am?
Kaun sa, ma'am.
Ano?
Sige, ma'am. Kuhan sa na, ma'am, ha. Kaya nag-claim pa siya, ma'am. After sa iya, ha, ma'am. Gimari, apelyado, ma'am, no?
Di ba, uli na gani mo? Doon naman ang takbo ko, ang talamara. Ay, pag walang panalakay, nang batas size pa.
B8, C9, D8.
Parang
C9, B8, C9, 8077, F60. Ano naman yung balik lagi?
Wi-Fi mo na yun. Dito, Wi-Fi. Ulit.
980. Ano ka pimaya din? B8C9807784. Naka-smart money ko man dahil ni siya, ma'am. Naka-smart money pa. Nara. Sulat na lang ko, ma'am, full name. Tapos perma.
Kuha mo na.
Ano man? Magkano lang ka? Thank you. Ay, dali lang yun. Dala ka dun. Tara. Naka-present na mag-ID, ma'am, no? Dali.
Pwede ka, de?
Oo. Cellphone number, ma'am, be. 09.
Ha?
Cellphone number ni mo.
Ngayon, ay, dito ka na. Ako, ay, sa kadalo. Limot mo ko sa kuha. Asa ba? Ano ka ba? Papa man. Ano pero ka ba?
Oo. Ilang, mama?
Nag-abhag na tayo kainin. Banded, right?
Quatro.
Ila?
4. So, phone number, ma'am, 09.
0905
Oo.
582
Oo.
1337. Ito ka, nakakuha na ka. Hindi na ko pa dito sa aman ko dalo. Kay duro man ang inisod dito sa wala na pa ya kauban ang inisod. Kuya kauban. Makakwarta ko lang ipadala na ko sa imong bana tagana ko 300. Ang isa ka buok. Ha? 1.5 garon daw niya. Tagaan niya to pang merinda to niya. Oh, gani. Pareha lang magyapon ka magpamasahe magyapon ko. Pasa pa lang buko sa duwa ng bata. Ganun lang sila wala. Ako. Ay nagpakuha ka nun. Kaya sinanguan man din ang akong buko. Kaya naman ko inis-on. Malabo man.
Tara, oh.
Nakuha na lang mo ang kuan din. Katong imong anak na isa na nahatag nakuha na lang mo birth certificate. Oo. Ang gamay? Tapos si Suwaira ay wala. Asa may kanang anak? Dito man ko man mo na dito sa kapalo. Dito si Suwaira ba? Katong imong dito gyana sa kuan. Di pa ko rin ba na daw nato dito sa Marawi? Bang. Dito sa ano?
Pakal na, ma'am, no?
Yes, ma'am. Ako lang ko sa bata. Delay man yan, registration delay. Delay ang delay. Asa nakapagpapakala? Ano nila? Wala eh. Pakuha ito yung naisip ba yun? Huwag napasilip ko. Magani, pwede man i-delay ano?
Ma'am, pa-check daw po sa cellphone. Kung naay kuan. Nanabot na ang code.
Saan sa magtamang?
Bebe.
Ay, gold naman nabutan.
Ay, asa man ni? Kanang sa message gani.
Sa message?
Ah.
Smart sa padala?
Kanang code diha nga 6 digit. Nakay na-receive nga message. Bebe, ako be. Nana diha sa message.
Wala.
Hanap na ang phone, ma'am, no?
Ha?
Hanap na imong phone ba? Di na mo kuha imong mataan eh. Daot.
Ay, kani?
Mm-mm. May Linda, ma'am, no? Ang birthday kay February 18.
Ah.
February 18, 1979. Asa gipanganak?
Balite.
Leyte.
Balite.
Na I work. Na,
Right? Nasa
na kay
balay.
trabaho.
Ay, wala.
Asa na puyo karon puro
Purok 9.
puro 9. Kampanugoy.
Ah. Ay, saan sa din mo nila ka? Ayun na ihatag naman ka ng keras na ihatag ko na. Asa sa
Ang picturean ta ka, ma'am, ha? Pasulat ko, full name, dire, tapos address. Sa inyo, magpadala ka?
Papel na na mo ilod.
Ha? Nara, o palihog ko, sa kuha, sa form.
Ano mo lang?
Ay, sir, pasulat ko, sir. Kinahanglan ako diha, sir, sa form. Oo. Ma'am, namoy 4, ma'am. Ah. Nara, Q. Sa number.
Ano din ang gahanda, ma?
Ano siya siya nga number? Smart?
Pintek.
Token text?
New message is received from SmartLoad.
Nara.
New message is received from SmartLoad. New message is received from SmartLoad.
If I were a legislator, my objective might be to be immediately invalidated her credentials. Not only would I attempt to discredit her competence, but I would establish my own competence in the field of computers. After all, I used one and she didn't. In addition, I used to be a computer programmer. How could she dare challenge my authority? This kind of approach in conversations creates immediate conflict and friction. It may convince a judge, but if a man uses such tactics in his intimate relationships, he'll end up using them next in divorce court. The worst move a man can make in discussion with a woman is to invalidate her feelings. Rather than be right, do the right thing. When a woman is emotional, any attempt on a man's part to explain the correctness of his point of view invalidates her feelings. Instead of trying to be right, I attempt to see what is right with her feelings. This way, she will in turn be able to be more supportive of me. To remain supportive in our conversations, I need to remember that Bonnie isn't intending to discredit me. Interrogation is an automatic reaction when women don't feel safe enough to share their feelings. So instead of responding, I dodged the missiles of mistrust and remembered that she was caught in the middle of a process and was really not intending to be derogatory about my competence. Rather than feeling challenged, I have learned to interpret my wife's question as a plea for me to her. When women become emotional, they generally ask questions as a sign that they need to be questioned themselves so that they can explore their feelings. Bonnie's doubt and fear were less about my competence than about whether or not I was interested in her feelings. This doubt was valid because on a gut level, I didn't want her to interfere. But on a heart and head level, I do care about her and did want to give her the respect she deserves. Now let's get back to our dialogue. The prime objective. In response to bonus questions, I reject arguing my guts in favor of realigning myself with my prime objective to support and be supported back. John, I think then John, I think that before we talk about the computer, we should first talk about how you feel. I want to understand what you are feeling and why you are upset. This kind of steady focus is required if arguments are to be minimized. Even if a man is practicing new relationship skills and intentionally not solving a woman's problem, her questioning can catch him off guard. Suddenly, he is giving answers instead of asking more questions. The more a man says, the more there is for a woman to question, and the more upset he will become. The more words she speaks, the more heard she can feel, and the more appreciated he will be. The techniques to remember her is to delay answering questions by asking more questions. Answer her question by asking her to talk more. A man will always be tempted to defend his point of view. He instinctively feels that if he could only share his understanding of the situation, she would feel better. In truth, she will feel better only when he shares her understanding of a situation. When a woman feels understood and validated, she can relax, otherwise, she feels she has to fight to be heard. Delayed solution. So, man, nakasulat na. Salamat. Sir, na wala palagi ang account din ni sir. Pasulat ko diri katong reference gani. Katong gihatag sa imuha nga padad-an.
Number.
Oo.
Ikaw na.
Ay, katong 16 digit gani, sir? 16 digit na ano number.
More
Katong
may gitik na ko ako. Ano?
pangutan na daw siya, sir, kay
Magani ako yung natawagan ni mong kontak.
kay di man ko kapadalaan ni not unless kaning imuhang number nga gihatag is Paymaya ni siya nga ano number. Mangayo pa ko sa iyahang Paymaya code para mapadadaan. Kay top up man eh.
Mo mo iyang gitik ko do. Mo man iyang gitik mo number ba mo ano mo na ayang tuwan.
Pa-question ko ato survey kay di man po dato gyapon mapadala kung kani ang gamit. Kini siya mo kuan sa kuha. Mo gana.
Wala lang mo.
Sige sir, okay na. Delayed solutions. At this point in the computer conversation, I am restraining myself from offering bonus solutions. I do not explain that as a writer. I am as dependent on my computer as a cowboy is on his horse. That I love computers and can certainly afford one. That my extensive research has made me certain this model and price is the best deal around. Or that because it's business write-off that I could use this year. I am actually saving money by buying it today. But all of these arguments are futile until I first find out what is really upsetting her. If she wasn't upset and needing to talk when I told her about the computer, she would simply have said, "Really, you want another computer? What kind of features does it have?" If she wasn't upset and needing to talk when I told her about the computer, she would simply have said, "Really, you want another computer? What kind of features does it have?" As she listened for a while, quite naturally she might say, "What is it going to cost? What do your magazines say about it?" etc. I would discuss it with her. On this day, however, she isn't responding in such a cheerful way. To avoid making things worse at such times, I have learned never to get logical and try to have a solution oriented technical conversation. When a woman is upset, it is extremely difficult for her to appreciate a man's explanation or indeed his entire rational approach. Ducking the generalizations. To my question about her feelings, Bonnie replies, "Well, I am upset. Whenever you want something, you just go out and get it. I don't know why you have to get another computer. Yours works fine. If we are going to spend money, there are another things we could spend it on." When she acknowledges that she is upset, my inner voice goes, "Yes, now I can get her to talk about it, and soon she will feel better. Be careful, John. Don't correct anything she says. Silently listen. Remember, feelings are not to be taken literally. They are poetic expressions to indicate one's passing emotion. They are not intended to be taken as factual statement, nor are they about me. Whenever Bonnie begins to use incorrect statement to make sweeping generalizations, I relax because it is clear reminder to me that we are not having an intellectual or factual conversation. She is expressing the need to feel heard. When she eventually feels heard, the resistant feelings pass away. Most men fear that if they don't correct a woman's statement, she will continue holding on to them as fact. This is true in court, but not in a relationship. In a courtroom, if she said, "Whenever you want something, you just go out and get it," I would be required to point out the incorrectness of her statement. I will defend myself by reminding her all of the things that I want that I don't get. I would point out to her all the times I have sacrificed my wishes for her. While this may be the way the wheels of justice turn, it will not work in an intimate relationships. Explaining that I also make sacrifices, such as waiting 6 months to buy the computer, would only confirm that I didn't understand her general feelings. I would also stimulate her need to talk about her sacrifices. Before we knew it, we would be arguing about which of us sacrifices the most. Ask friendly questions. As the computer conversations continues, Bonnie completes her comments by saying, "There are other things we could spend our money on," she poses. This is my opportunity to be civil and ask what she thinks we should buy. When she poses, I have a choice. I can ask a question in a friendly or at least neutral tone to draw her out more. Or I can undo everything I have accomplished by asking something condemning like, "How can you say that?" What most men don't understand is that the more a woman feels the right to be upset, the less upset she will be. If a man doesn't criticize her for being critical or blame her for blaming him, he gives an opportunity to release any criticism or blame she may be harboring. Why men argue with feelings? Men assume that an emotional woman is inflexible in her thinking. They don't realize that at such a time, when a woman talks about her feelings, she is not making conclusion or expressing fixed opinions. When a woman shares negative emotions, she is generally in the middle of the process of discovering what she feels to be true. She is not stating an objective fact. She talks to discover the range of feeling within herself, not to give an accurate description of objective reality. That's what men do. Instead, she is more concerned with discovering and describing what is going on in her subjective inner world. Meanwhile, I'm waiting for Bonnie to answer my question about what she feels we should buy instead of the computer. But she's still in the midst of discovering what her feelings are. Finally, she tells me, "It's not that I have this all thought out. It's just a feeling. I feel like you get exactly what you want, and I get and I get seconds. Maybe I'm a mad maybe I'm mad that you want so much more than I do. When I want something, it doesn't seem so earth-shaking. I realize that it's not that I have this all thought out. Means she's still talking feelings, not facts. But even with her help, I'm still struggling to dodge and duck from feeling criticized and unappreciated. Inwardly, I'm fuming. How can you say that How can you say you get seconds? I silently demand. I do so many things for you. I work hard so that you can have practically anything you want. How do you have the nerve to even suggest you're not important to me? Although these are my true gut reaction, I thoroughly appreciate how counterproductive it would be to express them. If I were to tell her what I think of her, it would only be to try to convince her that she is wrong or is being very unfair. I would suggest on I would succeed only in invalidating her feelings and confirming her doubts and mistrust. But by listening without attacking her, I am giving her the time and opportunity to talk more. Remember the good things about me and Lou. Yes? Double check ka sir ha. 5577
Oo.
5194
Oo.
8147
Oo.
Kani siya kay 0951
Oo, number na.
0471
Oo.
623.
Oo, okay.
Kani 09442
Porto. Oo.
0942
Oo.
3051873.
Ayaw di ay na lahi na nga.
Ha?
Kuan. Gusto di ay na sa akong tuon di ay kuan.
Sa nga number atong padadaan?
Ano di ay
09
Lang dam. Zero nine
09 dictate na sir.
09 36
36
34
34
600
600
49 94
0936 34 60094.
Oo.
1,500 sir. 1545 plus 18.
Daan nila mo daan ng load dam.
Ah. 437. Hmm.
I'm sorry for the disturb. Pero, kuan, kaning, ramon daw ni mamasok ang susi. Gasolinaan. Tapos, makatid. National, kay Lapag Mojo.
Narito ang susi.
Gasolinaan ko na, kulang ko. Gasolinaan.
Yara Pa-wait lang ko ha. Kay record po ta ka sir.
Hindi namang mas nga. Parang
10.
10.
Oo.
Halod ko.
Smart.
Oh.
09.
51.
Oo.
68.
Oo.
42455.
0951682245.
Oh.
Bali.
15.
15.
Ayun, kung ang ligaan siya.
Wala, giload na ako. Ang 15. Pakuan na lang ko sa asterisk 1, 2, 3.
Oo, sige. Hello, madam.
Yes, madam. Nakasulat na?
Wala, tapos na ako.
May ganon.
Si
600.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Sir, paliw ko sa imuhang kuan. Cellphone. At muna ni no, 0951 0471623. Somel apelyado, sir. Ngay mag-text dihag code, sir. Palihog ko sa code.
New message is received from smartphone.
Code.
Oo, kanang 6 digit diha, sir. Isa?
94
66
33.
33. Samuel man, sir, no? Birthday kay October 6, 1976. Asa gi panganak, sir?
Aklan.
Aklan. Nay trabaho? Unsay work, sir?
Operator.
Sa government? Asa nga government?
Dili, private.
Private? Say pangalan sa company, sir?
Maksan.
Maxan. M-A-X.
Oh, AM.
Ha?
AM.
A-N. Maxan. Kanimong present address, sir, no? Purok 2.
Oh, Kabaywa. Asuncion.
Kabaywa. So, picturean ta ka, sir, ha? Kaya lang sir, process pa na akong padala sir. Gi-registered pa man ta kaganiha. 3634 609. Adelina sir no? 557751946107. Sir 9 36 34 694 15 557751946107. Okay na sir, panote na lang ko sa katong cellphone sir ha. Kay next time nga padala, cellphone number naman lang ug apelyido ang gamiton. Thank you. Ah, sige. When a woman has a chance to share her feelings freely, she begins to feel more loving. Sometimes she may realize how wrong, incorrect, or unfair her statement sounded, but in most cases, she just forgets them as she begins to see things from a more loving perspective. It's hard for men to relate readily to this mood change because it's foreign to their natures and they just can't fathom it. When a man is upset and talks with the person who is upsetting him, he tends to remain upset unless that person agrees with him in some significant way or until he can find a solution. Simply listening to him and nodding your head in sympathy is not enough if he is really upset. After a woman shares a negative feelings, a man mistakenly takes it as her final conclusion and thinks she is blaming him. He doesn't know what her feelings will change if he just lets her talk them out. Why men feel blame? Quite commonly in counseling, a woman will share her feelings and a man will feel attacked and blamed. This is how it goes. He says, "You're blaming me." She says, "No, I'm not. I'm only sharing my feelings." He then says, "But your feelings tell me you are blaming me. When you say you feel ignored, you're saying I'm not attentive. When you say you don't feel love, you're accusing me." She then says, "No, I'm not. I'm just talking about how I feel. I am not saying something about you." He says, "Yes, you are. I'm the only one you are married to." She says, "I can't talk to you." He says, "There you go again, blaming me for how you feel." Without some intervention, they will go on arguing until they give up in frustration. Men must understand what is really going on inside a woman when she sounds blaming. On the flip side, a woman can make communication much easier by appreciating why her partner imagines that she's blaming him. As men begin to comprehend the female thinking and feeling process, they will see that from the women's viewpoints, she really isn't blaming them. For years, I couldn't comprehend this when I was listening to my wife. It was really hard to dodge when I feel repeatedly blamed. While she shared her feelings, I would feel an urgent need to argue with her. Then one day, all that changed. It was a realization that occurred while I accompanied her on a little shopping excursion. As I observed my wife shopping, I noticed a striking difference between us. When I shop, I found what I wanted, bought it, and got out as quickly as possible, like a hunter making a kill and hurrying home with it. Bonnie, however, was very happy trying on many outfits. When she finally settled on a shop that interested her, I was relieved and parked myself in a chair by the dressing room. She was very excited about several outfits. Was very excited because not only would she be happy, but we could finally leave. How wrong I was. Instead of simply buying an outfit or two quickly, she stopped watching like years trying on each one to get a feel for it. As she prinned in the mirror, she made comments like, "This one sort of cute, isn't it? I'm not sure though it is really me. The colors are good. I really love the length." Finally, she announced, "No, it's not me." This scene was repeated with outfit after outfit. Sometimes before changing out of one, she would say firmly, "I like this one." After 45 minutes of this, we left without her buying anything. To my surprise, she wasn't the least bit frustrated. I could not imagine I could not ever imagine putting that much time and energy into the hunt, coming home empty-handed and still being happy. Someone, someone.
Ma'am, pwede mo
Mm.
puput copy, ma'am? Ano talaga? Ay, yun, di ba?
Hala ah.
Sila, ma'am.
Dos.
Thank you.
Thank you. How to dodge blame. As I reflected on that incident, I realized that this was the key to understanding why a woman sounds blaming when she claims she is not. You see, an overwhelmed woman talks about her feelings the way she shops. She is not expecting you to buy a particular feeling any more than she is necessarily going to buy it herself. She is basically trying an emotional outfit to see if they fit. Just because she takes a lot of time trying on an outfit or testing an emotion doesn't mean it's her. Women who share their feelings are not committed to those feelings but are in the process of discovering what really fits. Just because a woman says something, it doesn't mean she's going to take it home and wear it forever. Now, in the spirit of fairness, when my wife seems to blame me, I pretend that we're shopping and she is just beginning to try things on. It may be an hour before we actually leave the store, but only then can I know what she finally believes. Negative feelings are not permanent. It is easier to dodge a woman's resistant feelings and not feel blame if a man remembers that her feelings are not permanent and that she is just trying them on for size. If he argues with her, she will become defensive. Having to protect herself prevents her from getting immediately to the place where she can return her negative feelings to the rack and buy more positive ones. Women speaks negative out loud to discover the positive, loving, and more accurate picture of what happened, even if some mistake was made by the man. As she lets go of negative feelings, she is able to see the bigger pictures and remember all the good he does as well. Articulating negative helps women accept men and love them just the way they are without expecting or even depending on them to be perfect. To find real love that does not demand perfection, a woman needs a man's support so that she can express her feelings without being held accountable for every word she utters. Feelings need to be expressed in a free and fluid way if a woman is to find the love in her heart. Feelings are not facts. When a man expresses a feeling, it is more like a fact, something he believes to be true but doesn't have a lot of objective evidence to back up. This is not what a woman means when she shares her feelings. For women, feelings are much less about the outer world and more about their experience of the outer world. For women, feelings and facts are very different animals. Bonnie's comment that it feels like everything we do is for you and not me. We always do what you want to do, and you always gets your way. Sounded like a critical comment about me. I heard her say, "You are selfish and you only care about yourself. You don't care about me. We only do what you want to do." I dodged my remembering that her feelings were not facts about me. When I can remember this, it helps her to remember it. I also feel assured because I knew that when a woman can expand, dramatize, or intensify her feelings about an emotions and feel heard, she eventually can and will begin to see the positive facts more clearly on her own. Mm. How to duck criticism. To duck Bonnie's criticism, I needed to remember that she really didn't intend her words to be a statement or fact. Her feelings were not a final critical statement about me and my actions. Translated into language I could understand, she said. Sometimes when I am emotional and not thinking clearly, like right now, I forget what a wonderful guy you are and all the times you are there for me, and begin to feel as if everything we do is for you and not me. It is as if we always do what you want to do. I feel as if I can't ask for what I want because you don't care. I know you really do care, but this is how I react sometimes, particularly when, like today, you really want something. When you really want something, you are so clear about it that it feels as if we are not partners anymore. And no matter what I would say, it wouldn't count. I really know do matter to you, but these feelings do come up. Your consideration of my feelings would make me feel really good right now. Would you reassure me that I do count and that you do care about me by listening to my feelings? To expect her actually to say all that is unrealistic. I would go against her feminine nature to be extremely rational, logical, and objective, accurate when she is in the process of exploring, sharing, and releasing negative emotions. A man who doesn't demand masculine pinpoint accuracy from an emotional woman allows her to reach objectivity with greater love, trust, acceptance, and appreciation. To dodge criticism successfully, a man needs to remember that all feelings are temporary. By listening to a woman's negative emotion, he allows her the opportunity to discover her positive feeling as well. In return, a woman can help him duck and dodge by making supportive comments. These comments will these comments we will explore more thoroughly in the next chapter. Feeling change. Another tip for successful dodging is to remember that negative feelings can shift 180 degrees in just a few minutes without a man saying anything. If a man reacts in a negative way to a woman's negative feeling, she doesn't feel understood and must continue explaining those feelings before she can move on. Reacting in a negative way only prolongs the process. It is not a contradiction. In fact, it's perfectly normal for a woman to say in a single conversation, I feel like you only care about yourself and you really are a very caring person. You gave me so much support. Once aware of a woman's inherent flexibility, a man can relax and listen instead of focusing on how to change her mind. When a man doesn't know how to dodge, he resists by spitting his guts, which in turn forces a woman to lose her flexibility and become close, rigid, and righteous. Disarming by asking more questions. Whenever a man asks a woman's question, he sends her the disarming and soothing message that he cares and that he is there for her. By asking questions and making statements like, "How can I help you?" or "Tell me more," he releases her from feeling she's fighting in an uphill battle. You'll find a list of disarming questions in chapter 7. You win by asking more. You lose by talking about your gut's reaction. The secret of supporting a woman who feels upset or overwhelmed is to help her work through her feelings by getting her to speak more words, negative or positive, accurate or inaccurate, defensive or vulnerable. The more words he can heard and dodge, the more she will feel heard and seen, which will shape her attitude back toward love. Bottom line advice for men to support a woman. Remember, if a woman doesn't have to focus on getting a man to listen to her, she can do what is most natural for her, talking and shifting her own attitude. To support her in feeling more loving and accepting her is some bottom line advice for men. When you suspect she is upset, don't wait for her to initiate the conversation. When you initiate, it takes away 50% of her emotional charge. Number two, as you let her talk, keep reminding yourself that it doesn't help to get upset with her for being upset. Number three, whenever you feel an urgent need to interrupt or correct, don't. Number four, when you don't know what to say nothing. If you can't say something positive or respectful, keep quiet. Number five, If she won't talk, ask more questions until she does. Number 6, whatever you do, don't correct or judge her feelings. Hmm? Sky flakes. Number 5, if she won't talk, ask more questions until she does. Number 6, whatever you do, don't correct or judge her feelings. Number 7, remain as calm and centered as possible and keep a lock on your strong reactions. If you lose control and spill your guts, even for a moment, you lose and have to start all over at a disadvantage. Urut! Urut jud siya. Ang minute maid na lang natin he. Saman. Hmm. Palit og palod. Naa.
Tulo-tulo. Tulo ka sa tiyan.
Kailang ha, napoy nagpaload na naa.
Tulo ka kopya.
Naman. Loaded na. Tulo ka kape?
Oo, tulo ka kopya. Ika, palit ka lang ito. T-shirt, Manila, Golden Light. Photo ng tayo, bulig-bulig, ang laki. Ano, pabot. Oh, eh, batahan yan. Nagkakakaltukan doon. May gusto ko. Palit yan.
Sa is?
Ranger.
Sa imo? Dos. Carl,
Kalod ako daan.
load sa
Load sa mga cellphone. Gusto ko ha.
duha sa ka-cellphone nimo? Sa smart? Or globe tanan?
Load tanan.
Oy.
Dahil nga dito sa
09
935
35
41
41
604
604
93.
93. 0935 4160 Bale,
20.
regular 20?
Oh, sila kayo 20.
23. Isa, 09.
Pasalingan kita naman.
Sige. Ipaan din ang tani mo kaganihad di ay.
So 967.
67
15 yung kuha nun. So 967 91
91
055
055
07. Balukaan niya na taan. User.
Go surf
Oh.
0967 910 5507
50. Balik ko kami ng loading no. Pa ito ba? Gama mo.
53 takuha sa mo kwarta Carl oy 50 o 23 26 Nara ah.
Ito ba yung location mo dito?
Akong 20 ha. Carl, akong 20. Ah, okay. Sige.
Gusto mo gusto
Sige. Mag-robing ka? Robing ka?
Load ko te.
Smart. Globe. Pila?
G te.
Regular. 09.
63
Oo.
140
Oo.
5053.
0963-140-5053.
Oo.
10.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Magbasa ra ko din ni Carl ha. Just as ducking and dodging and disarming are all fighting skills, so also is delivering. In a real fight, a man needs to wait and watch for the right moment to deliver his punch and make contact. In a loving conversation, a man needs to apply these same skills. He needs to watch and wait for the right moment to deliver a word or praise of support that will end the battle. In a loving conversation, a man needs to apply the warrior skills of delivering. Hila? Dos. Naa. During the computer conversation, after hearing many of the bonus feelings, I waited for her natural pause to ask her what she wanted. By supporting her in expressing desire, even if she doesn't know yet what she wants, I open her to feeling my desire to support her. Asking her what she wants doesn't mean I have to give up what I want. It does mean that I will have to expand my awareness to see how can I support her wishes as well as mine. It shows her that I consider her needs as seriously as my own. This kind of equal respect is a soothing ointment that nurtures her wounded female soul. What it means to understand feelings. To, to illustrate my next point, let's again return to the computer conversation. As Bonis expresses her feelings, I am waiting to deliver another supportive statement to assure her that I'm on her side. After she says she's afraid she can't get what she wants, it's easy to support her. I say, I can understand that feeling. By saying I understood, I didn't mean that I agree with her fear. I was not saying, yeah, you should be afraid of never getting what you want. You're married to a real selfish guy. By saying I understand that feeling, I was really saying I understand what it is like to feel afraid of not getting what you want. I have certainly felt that way at times in my life. It is painful and uncomfortable. During an emotional conversation, a man needs to be alert. Ha?
Ito yung istabihan.
Basa ko, Carl.
Pa-picture ko ma'am, babe. Nakatawad lang yan. Tulad yung
Again?
sige na sila pangataan ng blood pag-ibig.
Nasaan mo na?
Ano ka?
Nananam ko di. Ayun na na.
Kita ka?
Ambot lang. Hindi na ako makita. Hindi na ako makita kung naong.
Ito man yung istabihan.
Ha? Men are from Mars. Kuha na siya. Masculine skills for listening without getting upset. Regarding sa kanaganing ang babae, i-question ka. Halimbawa, kani siya nga story kay ang lalaki kay gusto siya mupalit og computer. Tapos within 6 months na niya na ginaisip kung palit ba siya og computer or dili. Tapos naka-decide na jud siya nga magpalit. Tapos nananghid siya sa iyang asawa nga magpalit ko og computer. Tapos ang iyang asawa kay gi-approach siya nga anong kinahanglan pa man nimo og bagong computer nga naa pa man kay bagong computer, naa pa man kay computer nga naga-work ana. So advice siya sa kanang sa lalaki nga unsaon siya pag approach sa babae kung gina-question siya. Kay pasabot daw ana dili daw ka gina-question sa babae. Dili ka gina-question sa babae tungod anang pagpalit nimo sa ano. Kanang murag na upset lang siya ba kay ang iyang kuan kanang murag nagadula gani siya sa iyang feelings. Ang babae kanang murag wala gud siya ganang kuan murag naingon murag ang iya hapod ang iya pong point of view murag kanang ikaw kuan kay ka pero pag musulti siya ingana ang babae nga ikaw self kuan kay ka kung unsay mong gusto makuha jud nimo ana na murag di na ka gina-considered ako ang mga panginahanglanon pag mga ingana daw nga ginasulti sa babae dapat daw ang lalaki dili daw niya siya i-take for ano kana ganing kanang gina-target siya sa babae. Pasabot daw kanang nagapagawas lang daw og feelings ang babae ana. So dapat daw ang imuha daw pangutanan is unsa day imong gusto. Murag ana mo imuhang ko ano na siya mga kanang advice kung unsaon para ma-counteract ang feelings sa babae. Ato siya. Nakuha nimo? Nga naman. Di kay ang lalaki ang gipakita po din sa libro nga pareha daw lahi man gud daw ang characteristics sa lalaki ug sa babae. Ang lalaki pag muadto daw sa mall, mupalit daw siya og unsa iyang gusto tapos muhawa na. Ang characteristic po sa babae is muadto siya mall, daghan kay siya suoton, daghan siya kay kanang kuanon, kanang isuot-suot nga mga outfit, mo take na siya og mga 45 minutes sige siya og kuan sa outfit niya. Tapos mugawas lang siya nga wa siya napalit. Pero happy siya. Murag ana ba? Murag gina-try lang niya, murag ana lang. Pero lahi ang sa lalaki kay ang sa lalaki so halimbawa pag ang babae daw musulti daw siya sa iyang mga emotions ang lalaki man gud ginaisip niya nga pag magsulti ang babae ana dapat na solution pero sa babae wala siya nangita og solution nangita siya something nga kanang maminaw sa iyaha nang mangita lang siya kanang something nga maminaw lang sa iyaha dili na ginahanglan og solution and sa lalaki nga side kay nani siya problema unsa na ko ni siya pag-solve murag ana ba mo nang medyo diha mag-conflict ang babae ug lalaki so mo ni siya iyang advice nga anaon daw matun-an nimo ang dodge and dodging kung kano sa ang tamang timing.
I don't believe that
Ana, depende lagi sa ano sa kana. Depende sa tao.
Ako'y lalaki po, niya istorya ng problema, makalit na paningin ko.
Mo gay siya tan-awon gani nimo jud siya unsa unay mo pagtimpla.
Wapo na mubasa katong mga kuan ko kinaiya.
Unsa man?
Yung pareha mo nga nang kinaiya ba, kabalo mo ko ang problema. Kabalo mo na problema, kabalo mo tama sa sitwasyon.
Mo to siya nga advice gani.
Mostly nga kuan kayo ang tawag chat ali ar reply. Kung sa dahilan daw ma'am.
Ha?
Sa dahilan nagbaba. Ato mo i-chat ko diri.
Hala, mo tangan na po siya nga nung nagbaba.
Sa dahilan ko. Uli is kanya-kanya mga lugar.
Nagkanya-kanya na ano. Na ako'y ka ng customer nga wala na siya nagbalik sa kuha. Nag-active naman gud ang kuan siguro. Nag-active na ang mga agent karon nga naga-loading. Na naman ata siguro yung nagasuroy nga mga kuan ahente. Kay na ako'y kuan na obserbaran din nga ano, medyo ano siya.
Sorry, Xerox ba dati?
Naa. Pero di ba dili raman ako?
Ay, may kakahinto ko rin ako.
Same pod o situation? Asa sugod ani October 1 to 15 na now boy. What do you want to do? 1 to 15.
Para lang sa nito.
Ha? Tag-isa-isa lang magkakapi na. Hala.
Tubig ko na ito magabi. Squat ko.
Gabi o kadlawon
Ay,
na.
ganun.
What it means to understand feelings. To illustrate my next point, let's again return to the computer conversation. As Bonnie expresses her feelings, I am waiting to deliver another supportive statement to assure her that I'm on her side after she says she's afraid she can't get what she wants. It's easy to support her. I say, I can understand the feeling. Ano ba ta? Ay, balik na ako. During an emotional conversation, a man needs to be alert and ready to offer a simple gesture of his support, like nodding his head in agreement, giving her a hug, or making sympathetic sounds. The importance of eye contact. When women are upset, they want to be seen. Unlike men, they don't want to be ignored or left alone. The most important thing a man can do is to notice when his partner is upset. When she feels seen, she can more directly see herself and more efficiently explore her feelings. When a man listens, his basic tendency is to look away in order to think about what is being said. It is hard for women to understand this difference because when they talk about their feelings with each other, they instinctively deliver their support by lots of eye contact. If a man simply stares into a woman's eyes when she talks about feeling, his mind will start to go blank and he will space out. Without understanding that a woman needs more eye contact than he does, a man tends to look away to figure out what his partner means or how he is going to respond. Learning to maintain eye contact not only delivers a very important kind of support, but also helps a man to check his reactions to attempt immediately to offer solution to her problems. The trick for a man is not only to remember to do it, but to do it without going blank. This can be accomplished if he looks in a special way. Instead of staring, he should first look in her eyes for 2 to 3 seconds. Then he would naturally turn his head and look away. He should instead look to the tip of her nose. After that, he should look at her lips, then her chin, and then her whole face. Then he should start then he should start over. This procedure keeps him looking in her direction and yet frees him from spacing out or going blank. It can also be relaxing because it is something else he can do instead of passively doing nothing. Cold fronts. When I noticed a cold front coming from my wife's direction, my old approach to making her feel better was to assume that she needed space to be alone. After a while, I would notice that it was getting colder and colder, and the chill was definitely directed toward me. I would crumble to myself that I didn't deserve Bonnie's cold shoulder and inwardly being getting furious. Eventually, we would negatively interact and sparks would fly. Once I understood more about women, I no longer sat around ignoring my wife when she was cold and getting angrier as she grew more intense. It eventually occurred to me that by giving her more space, I was only making things worse. I finally realized that Bonnie didn't want more space but wanted more contact and attention. Most of the time, when I was feeling the cold front, it was not even about me. She just needed to talk in order to warm up. But when I didn't notice and come over to touch her and ask questions in a caring manner, it just made her more cold and distant. So even though her feelings were not initially... Ay, sige Carl! Damat! Damat, Carl! It eventually occurred to me that by giving her more space, I was only making things worse. I finally realized that Bonnie didn't want more space but wanted more contact and attention. Most of the time, when I was feeling the cold front, it was not even about me. She just needed to talk in order to warm up. But when I didn't notice and come over to touch her and ask questions in a caring manner, it just made her more cold and distant. So even though her feelings were not initially about me, they soon became so. Now I cope with cold fronts by preparing myself to put on a warm jacket and fly straight into the storm. By touching her and initiating conversation, I know she will eventually warm up to me without my having to do anything else but dodge, duck, disarm, and deliver. Love po. How to warm up a cold woman. Now, when I sense a coldness coming from Bonnie, I immediately go up and touch her. If she doesn't pull back when I made physical contact, I know that her distress is not about me. If she does pull back, I realize that I'm going to need to duck and dodge a lot more. But I also know she'll get back to loving me even more. I touch not only to diffuse her anger, but also to check the temperature. If she's really angry with me, I found out and ask the appropriate question. If she isn't, I simply relax ne- from needing to duck and dodge. To initiate conversation, I ask her how her day was or if she's upset with me. A complete list of questions to ask are detailed in Chapter 7. In most cases, a woman will respond to these questions with, "Oh, it's not you. There is just so much going on." And we will then continue to talk. Even if she was a little upset with her mate, she will quickly tend to dismiss those feelings because she's initiated the conversation. When she feels supported, she can be very generous with her love. If an overwhelmed woman says it's not you before she begins talking about what's bothering her, it's much easier for a man to listen. What to do when she is
16.
angry with him.
16. Thank you.
Thank you, boy. In most cases, a woman will respond to this question with, "Oh, it's not you." There is just so much going on and will then continue to talk. Even if she was a little upset with her mate, she will quickly tend to dismiss those feelings because he's initiated the conversation. Sige, boy! When she feels supported, she can be very generous with her dad. If an overwhelmed woman says it's not you before she begins talking about what's bothering her, it's much easier for a man to listen. What to do when she is angry with him. When a woman is angry with a man, the most powerful message she can send her is that she has a right to be angry, that it is safe for her to be angry, and that he wants to understand what he did to upset her so that he can stop doing it. When I touch Bonnie and she remains cold or pulls away, the most important thing to me to remember is not to be hurt or offended by her rejection. Since I'm testing the temperature, I am prepared for a possible rejection. If I were not prepared, I would instinctually react with anger. Let's look at another example. One day I was feeling a cold front that had been building for several hours. I truly had no idea what it was about. The old me would have reacted by feeling unappreciated and unfairly denied. Instead, I knew how to quickly nip it in the bud by giving her a chance to talk about it. When I touched her, she immediately pulled away. But instead of stalking off, I summoned up my relationship skills and didn't take her action personally. I continued to stand there and look in her direction, wondering what was bothering her. As it worked out, it took at least 15 to 30 seconds for her to even realize that she had rejected me. Since I didn't react negatively, it was easy to rebuild trust. I now knew for certain that she was angry with me. To protect myself from feeling hurt by her anger and blame, I was careful not to ask a question like, "Are you upset with me?" or "Did I do something wrong?" To protect myself from getting hurt, it was best to at least start out with a question that didn't directly link me to her anger. The power of gentle persistence. The most effective neutral question to ask at times like this is, "Do you want to talk about something?" If the answer is no, it's easy to dodge because deep inside I can easily understand her not wanting to talk. I say, "I really want to understand what happened." Again, I am careful not to open myself up to much of her anger. She pauses and says, "There's not much to say." That tells me that there is a lot to say. I begin preparing myself to duck and dodge. My objective is to gently persist in my goal of being there for her by holding my ground without demanding more. I earn her respect and she gets the message that I really care. When women don't want to talk, it is generally because they don't feel safe, don't feel you care, or feel that you won't understand. This resistance can only be overcome with gentle persistence. Bearing that in mind, I say, "It is something I said or did." Her response is a deep inhalations and a long sigh, indicating that she really doesn't want to talk about it. I say, if it is, I really want to know. Then after posing, "If I hurt you, I want to know what I did so that I won't do it again." At this point, she opens up and gently replies, "The other day when we were talking, you answered the phone right in the middle of what I was saying. Afterward, you didn't even ask me to finish the thought. I felt really hurt." I say, "I'm sorry that I was insensitive with me." Although a surge of explanation come up, I quickly push them away and reach out to touch her shoulder. This time she receives it.
Ito, like, ano lang yung pila na yung
Piso.
tulo. Ito, pangalan din sa inyo wifi mo.
Piso Wi-Fi.
Alas 2 ano ito.
Hindi na mayo. Bonnie proceeds to talk about her feelings, and after a while, we feel very close again. I would never have known how to do this years ago. How could I? Nobody ever taught me. But now I am working according to a new job description based on a new relationship skills. I know better what it takes to dock and dodge. Once you've mastered the element of these new relationship skills, it only takes a few moments to discern how to use them. It's similar to hitting a tennis ball or golf ball. A lot of practice goes into developing the swing, but once learned, it's practically automatic. Learning to listen is similar to learning any new skill. When you first drive a stick shift, for example, the mechanism seems very complex. After practice, though, a seasoned driver doesn't even think about shifting because the process becomes a series of reflect actions. For a man, learning to listen attentively without getting upset or frustrated when a woman is upset is definitely a new and difficult skill. However, with a lot of practice, it can easily become second nature. If only our fathers have known. If a man could have repeatedly observed his fathers listen to his mother hundreds of times while growing up, he wouldn't need intimate, intimate, intimate he wouldn't need intimate job restraining. But because our fathers and mother did not know about new relationship skills, all of us have to learn new techniques. In future generations, when our children have a chance to grow up watching their parents model these communication skills, they won't have to work on them so hard in their relationships. Until that time, if men are to learn this important skill, the assistance of women is invaluable. In my own experience, the element that has helped me to learn more quickly is my wife's cooperation and support. By not expecting me to be perfect and by letting me know when I was helpful, she made my way easier. In the next chapter, we will explore advanced relationship skills that women can use to assist men in being successful listeners. By drawing on an ancient nurturing skills, we can learn how to love and nurture a man without mothering him. Women will learn to apply the skills of unconditional love that are so natural to women, while at the same time making sure that they get the love and support they themselves need. So exciting! So we're done na and tapos na tayo. At last nakapagbasa ulit ako. So that's all for today. Thank you! Thank you, thank you. Bye-bye!